Hey loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I'll be checking out Ben Shapiro as he reacts to feminist TikToks, and without much ado, let's see what Ben Shapiro has for us in this video. Is this a movie?
Hello?
Okay.
It's okay. We're gonna...
They're coming! You guys ready? They're coming! Sound like hell! We are women and we are free!
Alrighty, folks, so my producers have decided once again to torture me with TikTok videos. This time, it's all the woke feminists on TikTok. Oh, Lord, spare me. This video is sponsored by my friends over at ExpressVPN. A few thoughts. One, so she's apparently singing about the fact that white women voted in outsized percentages for Brian Kemp, which is good, because Brian Kemp should have beaten Stacey Abrams, who's a grifter par excellence. And she spells white weird. I don't know why the I in white is now gone. It's W-H-Y-T-E.
Why?
Strange. Don't understand. Also, I feel like this song could be repurposed for about 1,000 reasons. We may have to grab this song, and we may have to use this in the future to introduce segments.
I'm telling you.
I feel like the song is just vague enough that they could, yeah. I'm not going to mention where we would use this song. I'm just going to say there are a lot of contexts where this might come up. The only person who thinks about this person this much is this person.
I just told you who I thought I was. A god!
Is this what women think that people think about them like all the time? I'm sure there are men who are bad who think about women all the time this way. But most of us have lives and people we care about and things to do like jobs. And we don't spend all day just watching one woman and then thinking all these different things about her. Do you also mean that people are judgmental about other people? Because it turns out that goes pretty much every way. Turns out women are also quite judgmental about men. And other women. I hate to break this to you, ladies. Very often, women are the ones who are the most judgmental. So this idea that it's just the innate evil sexism of men that is driving societal standards that force women. Judgmentalism goes all the different ways. And one of the ways it goes is from women to other women, actually.
If there is one thing that I learned from my women and gender studies class that is on my mind 24/7, it's kin-keeping. Kin-keeping is the root of stress in most women's lives, and because they don't know the name for it, they are often called irrational. You might notice on a road trip, your mom's wondering, did everything get packed? Where is everybody? Has everyone eaten? What time are we getting there? When are we supposed to get there? What was I supposed to bring? And you might notice your dad saying, calm down, why are you being so irrational? Everything's gonna be fine. Stop worrying so much. And it pains me to see this because this man doesn't see all the work that your mother has done because it doesn't have a name. He doesn't...
Maybe you got rid of the old yee-ass haircut you got.
Kin-keeping. It's the unpaid labor that women are assigned to subconsciously as a gender. And not only does this cause a lot of stress in women's lives, but it also breeds a lot of ignorance in men. Did your dad plan that vacation?
Sometimes, yeah.
Did he even get the presents underneath the tree that say from dad on them?
Yeah.
Does he know when your dentist appointment is?
Yeah.
Does he know what size pants you wear?
Yeah.
If not, who did that?
It was me. I'm just saying. I know all those things. And my wife does a lot of stuff around the house. My wife does pack for the trips because she's very particular about how she packs for the trips. This idea that it's sort of like a gender stereotype that women pack for trips, maybe the reason a lot of women pack for trips is because they have a particular way they pack for trips, and if the men do it wrong, then they get yelled at. I'm not going to say that's happened before. My wife is very detail-oriented. Now, is that because I'm being sexist that my wife is detail-oriented? No, she was detail-oriented before she ever met me. My wife's a very detail-oriented person. Does that mean that she is kin-keeping? What? I'm not blaming my wife for that. She's very, very careful about how she packs. And I do appreciate it. Also, when it comes time for the trip, I'm always looking at my watch because I know it's not gonna, we just have different priorities on this stuff. Now, the way that people negotiate these sorts of gaps, that's what we call relationships. That's where love comes in and commitment and negotiation and all this. But there's a notion that women are inherently victimized because dad doesn't see the work. Dad definitely sees the work mom does. And most of the time he appreciates it. And sometimes he doesn't. And the other thing works as well. Sometimes mom doesn't see all the work that dad does. These are just human relationships. Can we stop giving them idiotic labels, please?
Insane.
What? You know what? I'm grateful to this woman.
What's a woman?
Because this is the outcome of full individualistic autonomy and authenticity, is it not? A complete reversion to the animal. There's actually a little bit of depth to this video. I don't just mean like the depths of the puddles of urine that this woman is now emitting onto the pavement. What I mean here is that, like, what distinguishes human beings from animals is the fact that we do have commitments to one another. And when she says, free yourself from society, and then she proceeds to pull down her pants and pee on the sidewalk. Yep, I'm being what I want to be at the cost of everybody else without any sort of societal standards. Think of a society filled with people who poo and pee in the streets. Well, I mean, that's San Francisco, I suppose.
Specifically
Oh, no.
gender-based trauma, and I have two relevant.
So she got stupider over time.
Let's talk about men who say, not all men. This behavior comes from three sources. First, this is a male pick-me behavior. Oh, I understand there are men out there who are acting in abusive ways, but I'm not one of them. I'm one of the good guys. That's a total delusion, by the way. In a patriarchy, everyone has internalized misogyny, sexism, and oppressive ways to treat women. That's why we all gotta unlearn patriarchal ways of behaving.
Everyone's
Number
evil.
two, the need to control women's voices. Notice how they are tone policing women, far more than they're mad at those men who are abusing, harassing, and raping women, who are giving the rest of the men a bad name.
Wait, hold on. Stop it right there. Stop it there. Who are giving the rest of the men a bad name. You just said they can't give the rest of the men a bad name.
Man.
You just said that's not possible because all the men are complicit. All the men are the products of that. You can't say not all men, right? This is what she says. She starts off, you can't say not all men because it is all men because you've all internalized the patriarchy. Then she says, you are more angry at us than you are at the other men who are giving you a bad name. But you just said they can't give us a bad name. You didn't learn much at Harvard about like basic structures of logic.
Number three, male superiority complex. This is related to the male pick-me behavior. Oh, I understand there will be awful men out there like who will abuse and rape and harass you and oppress you, but I'm not one of them. If you depend on me to protect you from male violence, you'll be good. That instills in women a fear of independence, that the real solution to the male violence is another man.
Oh, good luck with this. Seriously, good f***ing luck with this one. Her argument is that if a man says there are a bunch of bad men out there and they will harm you, and that one way to protect against bad men harming you is to have a good man nearby to stop the bad man. And you're like, nope, I am fully independent. So, for most of human history, in nearly all societies, if you did not have a large male body protecting you, you were in serious and dire trouble. And this happens to be true nearly everywhere on Earth right now, outside of the civilized West, where you still have a bunch of able-bodied men to protect you. They are called the police. There's only one circumstance I'm aware of in which that is not true, and that is unless this lady's a Second Amendment advocate. If she's a Second Amendment advocate, fair enough. She thinks women should pack and should be able to shoot guys who are threatening them. I'm all for that. I don't think she is. So what, is she going to throw her Harvard gender studies degree at a man who's truly evil? Is that the plan? She's going to take out that framed degree and just bash him with it? Boy, oh boy. Harvard is making people stupider. Year by year.
The misogyny continues.
Oh my God!
And did you know that women are 1.7 times more likely to suffer adverse side effects of medications because the clinical trials used to determine the proper dosage were male-dominated trials? Because let's completely ignore the fact that men and women process drugs differently and have different metabolisms. So yeah, super great. Have you ever heard of the pink tax? It's not actually a tax, but it's a statistically higher cost for female marketed products that are identical to male products. For example, female clothes that are identical to male clothes on average are 10% more expensive, and little girls' toys compared to little boys' toys tend to be 5 to 13% more expensive. And this inflation of cost, on average, is estimated to cost women $1,300 a year for identical products just because they're marketed to women. These are just examples to show you how the world is designed to cater to men. So again, there's your male privilege.
I know some of these words.
About the drug testing, she's not wrong, right? About the drug testing, it is true that now all these pharmaceutical companies are starting to striate their testing by sex. Now, I will point out here that the same people who are claiming that the world is a patriarchy also claim that sex should not be a genetic determinant of anything. You should be able to walk into your doctor's office and say you're a member of the opposite sex and be treated as a member of your opposite sex if you say that you are one.
Pregnant people, pregnant people, pregnant people, pregnant people, pregnant people, pregnant people.
Pregnant people.
As far as the cost on female clothing, maybe the answer is because marketing costs for women are pretty high. Men don't shop for clothes in the same way that women do. Here's how a man shops for clothes typically. He walks into a store, he looks at a piece of clothing, he thinks about whether it might fit or not, he does not try it on, he buys it and he leaves. When you send your wife into Target, you should set up a tailgate outside, because it's going to be a while. And women shop for things differently. And companies know this, which is why there is more of a market for women's clothing, which is why they charge more for women's clothing. The same thing happens to be true for girls' toys. I have 2 girls and a boy. They shop for toys completely differently. The way that my boy shops for toys is it a machine and does it have a battery? Does this thing have a button that does a cool thing?
Service package.
And so I walk into a store and I buy him a thing that has a button that does a cool thing. For my daughters, it's like, but is it pretty? Is it the right doll? Is this doll the brand doll?
She's crying.
Does this doll have the specific items that I need? They shop completely differently. I love ignoring all the confounds when you look at overall stats like this. It's always fun. Jeremy's Razors, available for 40% off today.
Welcome to feminism.
Uh-oh, theater kid.
Look around. Centuries of oppression, now we really must break ground. We've had waves of liberation, but the tide's not yet in. If you think our fight's over, boy, where do I begin?
I think those crazy eyes.
Welcome to feminism, come and take us.
It's not a good song.
Shall we start with the glass ceiling or harassment in the streets? The media's biased, even against our chests. Have any of you heard of the Bechdel test?
This is not good.
Welcome to feminism.
This is a bad song.
You prefer
I like the first song we did.
fight for women's rights or deny shit occurs. We're scrappy, we're daring, and bursting with rage. It's time that everybody got more engaged. Welcome to feminism.
How long does this go on?
Smaller crash test dummies and paid maternity leave. Our domestic labor should have value too, and would focus on intersectionality because this is all way worth.
That is awful. That's really bad.
What I'm getting is that you need some form of employable skill set. If theater is your pick, lady, you are going, that is, wow. Wow. I would not pay her 77 cents on the dollar to write a song. That is bad. That is some bad stuff right there. So here's the thing about feminists. Sometimes feminists make actually not horrible points about the world. There are bad men out there. They then proceed to take those decent points and beat them to death with a 9-iron, set them on fire, and fling them into the ocean. And that's how you end up with this garbage. This ain't it, girls. Can I say girls? This ain't it, women. Can I say women? This ain't it. People of feminine gender. Can I say it? I don't know. I've run out of words. Thanks, feminism.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that was such a funny one from Ben Shapiro. His reaction was so priceless, and let me know your thoughts on this one. I had fun reacting to Ben Shapiro, react to woke TikToks or insane TikToks or feminist TikTok. If you guys totally enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.